Week 9 is officially upon us, and our Minnesota Vikings take on the Atlanta Falcons this weekend in Atlanta. It's going to be a fun game, but it's going to be a very interesting ball game because we do have Jaren Hall starting this week because Kirk Cousins obviously tore his Achilles. Done for the season. We traded for Josh Dobbs. He's not quite going to be ready for this game, even though there might be some packages with him involved. Not sure how many or how many plays he's going to have this weekend, and it all depends on how Jaren Hall, the rookie, does, the 5th round selection, which I'm assuming he's going to be all right, but there's a couple key things that we need to do offensively, and an article on the Vikings Wire laid out perfectly the 4 keys that we have to do offensively to beat or to have a good chance at beating the Atlanta Falcons. So let's go to that article right here and see what they had to say. Now, the Minnesota Vikings season is not over. Not yet, anyways, okay? Now, getting journeyman quarterback Joshua Dobbs to come in as a relief for the injured Kirk Cousins proves that fact. But even though Dobbs studied to be a rocket scientist, he still isn't going to execute Kevin O'Connell's playbook with only 3 days of preparation. I beg to differ. Baker Mayfield did it on 2 with the Rams, got a dub. You understand. So, on Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Time, Jaren Hall will make his first NFL start in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Atlanta's defense has been stout for most of the season, but last week, rookie Will Levis threw for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, with 3 of them going to DeAndre Hopkins. Now, can Hall make it 2 weeks in a row? He and the Minnesota offense will have to execute these 4 keys to make that happen. The first one, easy, simple, hasn't happened all year, but I think we can do it, is get the run game going. The Atlanta Falcons are second in expected points contributed by a team's rushing defense in the league. A fact that they will surely lean on as the Vikings have struggled to get their run game going through the first half of the season. So it's going to be tough regardless, okay? Our run game has been non-existent basically this entire season. Now, Minnesota's second worst in yards per game and 7th worst in both yards per attempt and expected contribution from the rushing offense. Now, Cam Akers ran in their first rushing touchdown last week against the Green Bay Packers. The running game may not have a lot to do or have a lot of heavy lifting in this game with the insertion of rookie Jaren Hall at quarterback. They will have to overcome the challenges that Atlanta's front causes to give themselves at least a fighting chance. Now, the second key that we have to do, again, another easy one. This one should happen every single week, but we always have a tough time of executing in the red zone, right? Let's convert the red zone opportunities. We have to put 7 on the board. I'll take 3 points, but again, we can't be playing from behind. Have to be playing ahead, basically the entire game. So when we get in the red zone, we can't just fall over and die. No. We got to score points regardless. So convert red zone opportunities. It says that this Atlanta's defense has allowed only 19 attempts at the red zone on the year. That's the 6th least in the NFL. In those attempts, they've only allowed 8 touchdowns, 3rd least in the NFL, and the 42.1% touchdown comes out to a 5th best in the National Football League. Now, teams don't get in the red zone very often against Atlanta, and when they do, they come up empty-handed. Any red zone opportunities that Minnesota gets in the game needs to be treated with the highest of importance. Now, take advantage of anything in this offense to get into the end zone. Hall's ability to run the football will help move the football in the condensed nature of the red zone. Now, Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne are good to great route runners that can find ways to separate in tight situations. Now, TJ Hawkinson will be used a ton with his big body to box out would-be defenders. Now, when the Vikings offense finds themselves in the red zone, they have to execute. The last couple weeks, we get in that red zone, it seems like we can't get anything going. It's a bunch of lackluster plays. Let's run for 2 yards and let's kick a field goal. How you doing? Keep it moving, and let's try it again the next time around. But we can't do that. Get in the red zone and convert. Now, the third key that the Minnesota Vikings have to do, pretty simple. Make Jaren Hall comfortable. First start in the National Football League. Keep him as comfortable as possible. Don't let him get, have that anxiety, and don't have him be crazy on the football field. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it comfortable out there, right? Now, at BYU, Jaren Hall was at his best when he was using his athleticism to make plays, something like Kyler Murray did, right? Now, whether that's scrambling for yards after a play breaks down or the offense moving the pocket on a rollout, he is the best when on the move. That does not mean that he can't function in the pocket, but the pocket has to be clean, okay? The Vikings have one of the better pass-protecting offensive lines in the league right now, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. However, Hall does not do well under pressure. I think we've seen that a little bit in that Green Bay game last week, where Green Bay was getting a lot of pressure when he was in the ball game, and Jaren Hall had no time to make a decision. It looked like he was basically playing frantic out there, and it didn't look good. So we have to keep the pocket clean for Jaren Hall if we want to pass the ball downfield at least more than 10 yards, okay? Now, the fourth thing that we have to do, the fourth and final thing, it's a pretty simple one, all right? You should do this every single week. Play loose. Go out there. Don't play, don't be tense. Just go out there, have fun, and come away with a victory. Sounds simple enough, but it's really not. It's the National Football League, so it's going to be tough. But just because Kirk Cousins is gone doesn't mean things have to get wild out there. Let's just play loose and see how things go. Now, there are not high expectations for what this offense will look like on Sunday. They just lost their quarterback and leader in the locker room, Kirk Cousins, to a season-ending injury. Nobody expects fireworks from this unit as they try to navigate life this season without Cousins. So, there's no pressure. Just play loose. Not loose to the point of recklessness, of course. There's enough to combat without turnovers or penalties causing extra headaches. But play loose. Not everything has to be perfect. The season isn't over, and you have a chance to upset a Falcons team that's feeling a ton of pressure to win. They just benched Desmond Ridder. Taylor Heineke's now going to be that starting quarterback for them, at least for this week, he is also a former Vikings backup quarterback. So time to take him down, if you will. So blast some Creed in that locker room before the game in his honor and go out and just play football. If we can do those four things, get that run game going, convert the red zone opportunities, make Jaren Hall comfortable, and play loose, there's no reason we shouldn't win this ball game. I think we're going to beat the Atlanta Falcons even without a Kirk Cousins or a Justin Jefferson, but we have to do, a lot of things right. Don't commit turnovers, and again, just play loose, but not to the point of recklessness. So you guys can let me know in the comments what you think it's going to take for the Vikings to beat the Atlanta Falcons this week with Jaren Hall at quarterback starting for the Minnesota Vikings. Also, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skol Vikes.